guys, it's Ahmer here. So today we're going to talk about my trip to Ocean City, Maryland, where I had a blast playing in all of the different arcades that are featured on the Ocean City, Maryland boardwalk. So today we're going to look at a couple of the arcades that were open when I went down there over the past few weeks. So let's go ahead and see what games I played. So of course, anytime I go on vacation, I like to kind of scope out where all of the video game stores are, where all of the toy stores are, and of course the arcades. So I have always grown up playing in the arcades. There's just something about that, and of course over time you notice that there are less and less of those old dingy arcades. So now we have all of these different arcades over this Ocean City boardwalk that definitely bring life back into that feeling that I used to have back in the day. And some of these places have been around forever. So anytime I go to Ocean City, Maryland, I really like to scope out these different arcades and just see all of the different things that they have. So we're going to talk about quite a few of these arcades that they have there, and three in particular that I went to. So of course, first up we have this Fun City arcade, and this was just the middle of the day. They do have their hours posted and everything, but of course anytime I go in there I really like to scope out all of the different machines. I like how they just have rows and aisles of video games and everything else. So of course they have tons of the racing games. I really like having those sit-down racing games. Of course, some of the ones that I remember from back in the day. They have all of these newer ones, so these are more advanced. They have a lot more to them. And then all of these big huge screens that they have on these other video arcades. So they have those huge Space Invaders, they have these big Pac Mans, just these really big ones that have this kind of different feel to them as you're sitting down and playing them instead of just a little arcade machine. Then of course they have coin pushers galore, so those used to always get my attention back in the day. I used to think that I could win everything in the store, but I mostly just go in there trying to find some different machines, some different games. I really like the light gun style games, and I just love how each little place that I go into has pretty much the same, but they do have one or two different style games in there. Of course, there's always Skee Ball that I end up to, and I just like to try different arcades, different games, different types of games. But this Fun City place was the first one that I went into on the Ocean City boardwalk, and this one I only played quite a few games, but more so when I went into MARTYS PLAYLAND. So this place is a place that I definitely remember from back in the day. I always had a blast going in this one. So they have the really cool kind of lights on the side, especially at night. Everything just lights up. It really draws you into this place. It's a pretty large arcade that they have there, where they just have a decent variety of every single type of game. So of course I love all of the light gun games. I always have a blast anytime that I see the Jurassic Park ones and the Lara Croft Tomb Raider games. Those are really so much fun. And I just love something about these old-time Skee Ball machines. They're definitely a lot of fun as well. I always have a blast playing on there, so I always have to give that a go. I just love how if you keep walking around in this place, you see this whole entire dark area. It reminds me of those kind of dark days back in the day where they had those dark, dingy arcades, and you just really had a blast going in there. I really like this dark corner where they have tons of pinball machines. So they have these really cool pinball machines. They do have an old school style cabinet that has, I think, 60 in one or so of the classic games like Donkey Kong, Pac Man, Miss Pac Man, just a bunch of those style games in that cabinet. Then of course I really like how it has those bright neon colors with that black light. You see those air hockey games, so those I definitely played, and I had a lot of fun playing that, as those definitely look pretty cool. It kind of has this whole vibe in that corner. As you kind of go all around, I love seeing those big screen games that I mentioned, like the Space Invaders, things like that, Galaga. They kind of have all of those games on those newer style screens where you sit down and you just blast away as you're playing. So those I definitely had to try out. About throwing a ball at those crazy clowns, those games are definitely a blast as well. So these are just some of the games that I really enjoy when I kind of go through these different arcades, and overall I'm just trying to show you the different layout and the different style games that they do have, so that if you are in the area and you are trying to kind of look for a more specific game, you can. And then another one that I really enjoyed playing is at Connect 4 with the basketball. So instead of just shooting a basketball into a hoop several times and trying to get the high score, you can actually play against a buddy of yours. So, you know, of course you're playing with the different color basketballs, and you want to play the game of Connect 4. So of course you have to be good at basketball, and you have to be good strategically, as you think that you're going to throw it and kind of connect 4 and win, but then of course the basketball bounces off the side because you didn't throw it correctly, or maybe you were just rushing, and of course that kind of throws some things off and makes it a little bit more difficult on that game. That's a game that I really actually enjoyed playing while I was there. So there are just tons of games in here. And then of course another arcade that I really enjoyed as well is the Sportland arcade. So that one's definitely a lot of fun as well. That is the only place that I saw that had the Dance Dance Revolution arcade machine. So that has always been a favorite of mine. I think last time I went, it wasn't really working. It was kind of wobbly, and I didn't really get a chance to play. Now, I didn't really play this time either, but I have played it in the past, and I always have a blast playing those games. I would love to have a full-size Dance Dance Revolution arcade machine in my collection. Then of course just seeing all of the different coin pushers, the different newer style games, and the ones that everyone wants to play with the prizes and trying to get the plushies and everything else. So just seeing everything overall is always a great time, and just seeing some of the older style games mixed in there, like the pinball machines, the older style Tekken fighting style machines. Definitely a blast seeing those classic ones, and I just always have a blast anytime that I go to Ocean City, Maryland, and I make it a priority to play the arcade machines. So of course, Let me know, as we're kind of panning around, which arcades you would have loved to play. Are there any that I should have definitely played while I was there? And what did you guys think about these arcades here? Do you have anything like that? Maybe some of those newer style like Dave & Buster's or Round 1 or things like that. Just let me know in the comments below. And of course, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go ahead and check out my other videos and stay tuned for more.